your heated blanket,
Yeah.
get warm, enjoy some sports talk, and enjoy the luxury that is the sporting environment that we've had over the past 5 or so days.
It's a blessing, isn't it?
It's amazing.
I always say this in life, right? There's a lot of times in life that we have our blinders on
Right.
and we don't sit back, be where your feet are in the moments, and you miss things. Because right now, if you haven't taken the time, and it's okay, you can jump on now. If you haven't taken the time, whether the Huskers are at home playing at PBA or they're on the road, to take a chance to watch them and just enjoy the moments that you're getting right now, you're missing it. They're 20-0, and that's fantastic. The way they're doing it, the way I don't want to say defying the odds, because what I love about this team, like, I think we're all surprised. Maybe even they are that they're 20-0, but maybe they're not. They're like, whatever, 1-0. We just did it again. They are exactly where their feet are at every moment of this season so far at 20-0. Tomorrow night, their feet will be in Ann Arbor. That'll be their focus. It won't be what we like to talk about because it's who we are. It's what we do for a living, right? Talk about the next 4-game stretch. What are they looking ahead at? Nope. Right now, they're working about probably having a workout this morning, maybe getting some classwork done, and then tomorrow night, their feet will be in Ann Arbor.
I think that's the crazy thing. It's just the competitive stamina of this team. When you look at the entire gauntlet that is the Big Ten, and then the non-con, you play Oklahoma, you played Kansas State, you played New Mexico, right? You played Creighton. Like, there were good teams in your non-conference that you ended up playing against, or at least teams that are worth a mention. You know, some of them have tapered off. K-State, I know, hasn't had the season that they expected, but, you know, Oklahoma's lingering a little bit in SEC play, but still the quality of wins. Like, you play a tough schedule in the non-con. Then you run to a gauntlet of the Big Ten. How do you open up the season? Hi, Wisconsin. Hi, Illinois. Right off the back of playing Creighton, you just go back to back, right? You get Wisconsin in your home barn. You go to Illinois. You go to Illinois to play against the Fighting Illini, in Champaign. You start that off. Oh, and then you come back after the new year, and you get Michigan State, right? Yeah. Hey, welcome to 2026.
Stay the course.
Tom Izzo's coming to town. Guess what? Every single challenge and every single domino, whether they be trap games, whether they be, you know, look ahead spots, whether they be good teams that have come into your barn or you've had to go on the road, every single challenge this team has come up against, they have passed with flying colors. The competitive stamina, if you have this team down 16 at Indiana, down by 6 at halftime against Minnesota, in an environment where it easily could have gotten away from them. Every single time for 40 minutes they have competed, and every single time they have come out as victors. It's time to stop talking about this team as a feel-good story. It's time to stop talking about them as one of, as you know, like just a farcical of college basketball. You know, just a story that's here and it's gone tomorrow. The competitive stamina of this team to continue to go out every single night and execute for 40 minutes. You can guard Price Santford for 28. Can you guard him for 40? I think the competitive stamina of this team has to be applauded just because of how tough and relentless they are. They just don't quit, Hooksy.
Nope.
That's the big thing. Every single time that we've seen them, there are people saying, oh, they needed a quality loss on their resume. Oh, you know, they were going to run up against a team that was going to just have their number. Teams have had their number for halves. They haven't had their number for 40 minutes. Now you're going to play the team tomorrow who might have your number for 40 minutes.
Maybe.
But one thing can be assured. There is the utmost confidence in that locker room right now that no matter who they come up against, they're going to fight for 40 minutes and they might darn well come out winners.
Boy, and I think there's a few things that also come to mind as that's well done, well said. The unselfish attitudes of this club, playing with no egos. One could go back and say, man, look, I watched this the last few games because we all know there's a not the elephant in the room kind of deal, but Rank hasn't played his normal that we're expected, that we've become accustomed to watch him play. He's made big shots, but not as many. It just hasn't looked the same again. Michigan State, boom, and then after that, it hasn't been the Rank. But his energy, his leadership, he could have easily gone, like this team down 6 at the barn, could have easily gone, not our day mentality, right? Could have gone, not our day. Rank's attitude could have been like, man, woe is me. I'm not getting mine. But that has not been it. His energy, his leadership has continued. Unselfish, no egos. Do yourselves a favor as well. if you get a chance, you want to peek. I love these things. And again, it's all post games, things like that. But the cinematic recaps are amazing. Those couple of guys that are doing that and producing that, amazing. Boy, if you didn't get a chance, the one at Minnesota in the locker room.
Might be the maddest I've seen Fred.
Fred needed to calm down.
Him and Nate were tearing
Nate, I think we're accustomed to be like, yeah, I can see it.
They were dogging him a little bit at halftime, weren't they?
Whew.
They got in.
They dropped a few bombs. But I love what Nate said about it, because it's easy to get into the funk of like, I'm going to walk in, we're going to do us, and you forget who you are. When Nate was in there going, they work hard. They want to compete. You know,
they have pride.
Kind of as a wake-up call for that team. Not a wake-up call, but like, hey, remember, they've lost some close games. They were 9-2 at the barn. I think you had lost like how many times against Minnesota in basketball in the Big Ten since you got there? It's just a lot of fun to look at this and the way they battled. And again, we'll talk with Robin coming up, but enough is not said. No. And it probably is, but their defensive efforts, the coaching adjustments in second halves have been next to none. In whatever case, I don't care who it is, where you're at, what team you're playing, you hold any Division I basketball team to 21 points and a half, you're doing it.
You're doing something
right.
You're
doing it. Because for me, I watched the entire game, not even mad at halftime. There's a few things you draw from that first half. Minnesota makes like between like 7 threes a game. They banged 9 in the first half, and you're down 6. You're like, okay, good. We took your shot. Now we're going to up you and come get you. And Fred talked about the kill shot. Let's go have a kill in the first few minutes of this half. And then boom, off and running.
Well, and I think that's the big thing. That's also, kind of indicative of this team. When you've looked at Husker athletics over the past several years, you can even go back through the decades, right? The great Husker teams of any sport, what did they have? They had a winner's mentality. Hooksy, at any point, have you seen this team hang their head and pout and say that, oh, we can be satisfied?
No.
I don't think you can.
No, because if you watch Fred at the end of every cinematic recap in the locker room, what does he say?
Are you satisfied? I don't think anybody in that locker room is satisfied. And to be honest, that's a winner's mentality, where they're able to just take the chewing at halftime and you go out and you respond. And for 40 minutes, you go out and you play as hard as you can. That is all that Husker fans have ever asked for. You want a team with a winner's mentality in that athletic department right now? Look at the men's team. That men's basketball team, they are not quitting. Amy's got a good group too. I don't want any shade to be thrown at the women's side of things.
Well, they showed a lot of pride the other day, right after on Saturday at 1 o'clock. A lot of pride to come back because they've been not banged up. They getting like some key losses through the They go out and boom. Take that, Illinois.
Hey, but that's what teams' winners mentalities do. They go out, they show up, they compete, they have a professional approach, and they go handle business. It just feels like at this moment in time, Hooksy, that it's going to take an exceptional performance to beat this Husker team. Because what you're finding out quickly is this team will not beat themselves. Will not. They refuse to beat themselves. They are going to stubbornly stick to their game plan. They're going to relentlessly stick to their game plan, and you're going to have an exceptional night to beat them. You took 9 threes from Minnesota. You took one of Indiana's best offensive halves of the season, right? You've taken some great punches. You took a great defensive performance from the number 2 defense in the nation in Michigan State. They took every single punch, and they've weathered through it, and they've won the games by hook or by crook, whether it was pretty or not. You had a last-second three at Illinois. You controlled most of that game, right? It wasn't pretty against Washington at points. You still controlled that game. Beat Oregon by 35, Wisconsin by 30. Not enough can be said about what this team's done. You go on the road and beat Northwestern by darn near 20. It's just continually the competitive stamina and the winning mentality on this team continues to shine through. And it's a bunch of guys who at the end of the day, you can go back to the cinematic recap and you could say they aren't truly satisfied.
No.
Until they finally see that finish line.
And I think another thing to be known before we take a break, we'll get to Robin Washington here momentarily, is the fact that learning how to be hunted and not going out for the hunt. There's pressure within that.
Yeah.
To now, every night out, tomorrow night, whatever, as this streak was running, every team they played wanted to be the first one. Wanted to be that first one. Every road game you go to against an unranked opponent, they want to knock you off and storm your court and storm their court. being hunted is tough. The pressure, probably a little bit of the anxiety, right? The mental stress and battle of that is a different mentality. There are teams out there that are used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, getting used to that is different. They felt a little bit of that against Minnesota. Minnesota was hunting.
Mm-hmm.
They came out hunting.
Yeah, they brought the rifles and everything,
Yeah.
brother. I'll tell you what, they had the scopes. So they were looking for a top 10 kind of kill.
It's like playing buck hunter, man. They were like the little kid that's 5 years old, and he was up as close to the screen as possible, knocking them all down.
Yep, they were trying to go after it, and that's what's going to happen, right? Because you look at the upcoming stretch, and you go right at Michigan. You know it's going to be tough. You're going to get one of their better shots.
Yep.
And then you got, okay, we'll come back home against Illinois. Oh, we've got Rutgers. And everybody's going to overlook Rutgers.
Yeah.
That's a program with pride. I know they're lingering towards the bottom of the Big
all
Ten,
are, though.
but they have pride, right? Their fan base will be looking for a spark in their season.
Yes.
And you could potentially be that, right?
That one win that goes, oh, we got one this year.
Yep.
We knocked off a top 10 team.
Right, because Steve Pikiell's going to be coaching for his job.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be looking at that game and going, right, I'm going to sell out, and I've got to beat that team, right? No matter what. There is not an off game anymore because of that little number next to your name, right? Because it says number 7 for now until we get the AP poll later today and we figure out has this team moved into the top 5.
Should.
No, but no matter what, I don't think the mentality of this team can be questioned because no matter what, even when they've gotten down, they have competed their tails off. And it will take a team playing the full 40 minutes to beat this Nebraska team.
And you know,
they're not going to beat themselves.
And you know, when they get done tomorrow night or whatever night, they're going to know that they just played Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go, man, that was a tough basketball game.
Because they beat you up.
Yep.
I tell you what, the team's physical, and it may not look like it because they're not, thumping around on the glass and stuff. Yep. Every time you go into the body of Rink Mast, Bearcat Buchengel, Sam Hoiberg, Bryce Santford, Jamarcus Lawrence, Cale Jacobson, Braden Frager when he's healthy, Jared Garcia, you're going to run into those guys, and you're going to go, man, they are solid. And that's a testament to the strength and conditioning staff. Kurt Joseph doing a wonderful job on that staff. That's a testament to what they've done, right? Building up solid Big Ten bodies throughout an entire lineup and just saying, right, we're going to throw men at you, grown men, for 40 minutes. Can you take that kind of beating? For 20 teams, the answer was no. For 20 teams, they could not put them away. They're 20-0. And guess what? You get a shot at potentially a top 5 matchup in the Chrysler Center tomorrow. How exciting is that?
Good morning, Shane. Congratulations. Good morning, Flood X10. Good morning, Todd. Todd, we'll get your answer because we're going to take a break. Speaking of a guy that's undefeated with us, it's Robin Washut coming up with HuskerOnline.com.
All right. How about that?
Todd, we'll get that update from Mr. Robin Washut. He is always in touch with what's going on.
Always.
With Husker Hoops.
Feels like it's always.
He's on another flight tomorrow in Ann Arbor. We might get a chance tomorrow to trying to work it out. We'll see. Trying to get a little, maybe a few moments with one Elijah Herbal, who is out in Ann Arbor. See what's going on with him tomorrow, maybe.
Big stuff.
I know he was at an Irish bar yesterday or last night.
He's at an Irish bar?
Yeah.
What are you guys?
He tweeted something out or he texted or something.
Of course he did. What a guy.
Well, I think you were on that text, weren't you? They were talking about, because we know that we had a Broncos fan in Elijah.
Mm.
And then we had YZ.
Oh, yeah.
Patriots fans. So they were,
Yeah, they were giving it to each other a little bit.
You know what? When we get to that, it was so hard to even give it to each other because it was such a nasty looking game.
Yeah, that weather was not fun.
I have to go back and look. We just got the auto email. We'd made predictions, and it just shot out the auto email on our playoff predictions that we made.
Oh boy,
I know, right? Well, we'll have to go. We'll go through this at some point today. His Super Bowl, Bob, I just give you as we go through. No, I'm not going to give that away. He has none right. I have one right.
No. Attaboy.
Super Bowl, that's it.
Attaboy, Hooksy.
Somehow I got to the one.
Hey, that's all you needed. At the end of the day, that's all you needed. Good man.
Oh, God, I was so close to the other one. Well, not really.
It's okay, Ryan 840. You don't have to call me famous. It's okay. I'm just your friendly neighborhood ginger. That's all it is.
Oh no, you are famous.
I don't know about that.
When we're sitting up there and we're watching games, and then they're like talking about Sammy Boy doing some broadcasts with it, and then there's your face on the Big Ten Network.
Just throw my face.
Yeah, it's just right there. You get rights to that.
I don't know. Hey, maybe maybe a signed contract wouldn't be too bad either. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, get the guy his flowers. You're gonna use them on the tube.
It's all right. All right. I'm gonna ring up Robin
real
quick.
Robin, watch.
Just in case you're ready. All right. Thank you, Robin. All right. Here we go, Hooks.
Here we go. Welcome back in the morning. Hookup. Happy Victory Monday. This is so appropriate in a lot of different ways.
It always is.
No, it's okay. Robin Washington. Washington, what's up, brother? Nothing. You hear this music? Not a player just rush a lot. Like, it's fun. It's elite. It's fun because like different producers and like you can tell their music styles, and then they just play to our guest because one that's a player that crushed a lot. It's Robin Washington.
Yeah, we'll crush a lot of something. I don't know what it is, but something.
Well, you're 20-0 on the season as you're traveling with Husker Hoops. Boy, let's just jump right into it. And again, thanks. I know it's a Monday. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're heading out tomorrow. We appreciate you. Boy, looking back again, we can look back at this game, and again, it's probably been one of the themes out there all season is you go in the half and they come out like with capes on for some reason, whether it's Fred and Nate making adjustments, it's defensive stuff, what they're doing the second half. Talk about this second half because, and I said again earlier this morning on the show, I don't care who you are, who you're playing, a team that can come out and hold a Division I basketball team to 21 points is next to incredible when you look at it for 20 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, and then score 46
Yeah.
on the other end. That's about as good of a 20 minutes as you could possibly ask for. And they not only made adjustments, they completely flipped the script where Minnesota hits 9 3-pointers in the first half. That was one more than their season average. So they were shooting as well as they had all season in the first half. And yet, as poorly as Nebraska played, Price Sanford has 2 points. Really, Sam was the only guy that was doing much anything with 14 points. Just the offense seemed choppy. Everything was hard. They were getting out-toughed on some rebounding, and we're just giving up way too many. The closeouts were slow and late, and giving a lot of open shots to Minnesota on the perimeter. To only be down 6 at that point, I thought was a huge deal because the fact that they can go into the locker room and say, "You guys couldn't have." This is probably the worst half of basketball we played all season, and it's a 2-possession game. Like, you are better than these guys. We need to start playing like it. And I think that mentality shift was evident right away. Where I think the first defensive possession, Berke gets a deflection, and that led to a missed shot and a defensive rebound. And that's what it all comes down to for Nebraska. When they are locked in defensively and are active the way that they're capable of being active with deflecting passes and contesting passing lanes and closing out hard on 3-point shots and, boxing out properly to finish possessions on the defensive glass, that's where then the offense starts to get into a bit of a groove, and they're able to play with that pace, and they're able to get out and run. And then suddenly the offense just, see some shots go in, and there they go. So that's exactly what happened when they opened the second half. It started with better effort defensively. And then, obviously Price got that 3 to bounce off the rim, off the backboard and in. And that's all he needed. He just needed to see the ball go through the hoop. And he was off and running with 20 points in the second half. And Nebraska made Minnesota go 0 for 11 from 3 after halftime. That was an ideal finish to a less than ideal start, and kind of, like you said, goes back to the identity of this team, where they are absolutely a second half team. And for whatever reason, sometimes they need to kind of work out the kinks through the first 20 minutes, but they've always been able to flip that switch. And there's probably not a better example of that than up in Minneapolis this weekend.
Robert, I want to take a quick moment just before we get into the matchup that is at stake tomorrow, and it's going to be one of monumental implications. But let's take a moment just to reflect on the season that's been 20-0. This team right now tied for the lead in the NCAA with wins above the bubble. They're already at 7, just an astronomical resume that Nebraska's built. They faced multiple challenges. You had to put up 105 to beat Oklahoma. You had to put up 58 to beat Michigan State in a rock fight. You came back from down 16. You came back from down 6 at the half. You've done it with Frager, done it without Frager. You've done it without Oogie for most of the season. I mean, there's been points where Bear K missed a game and it wasn't the cleanest. Guys have come in and out of this lineup, and yet there's been a mark of consistency throughout this team. Talk a little bit to me and to the general audience about the competitive stamina of this team and the winning mentality that they've displayed just throughout this 20-0 course that they've played.
Yeah, kind of went down the list of the adversity they faced. It's been kind of a different thing every game. There's certain things they have to overcome, big or small, that in previous years can derail a game or spark a losing streak or whatever, because teams aren't built to adapt and withstand things that don't go their way. And that's kind of been a hallmark of this group, where regardless of injuries or poor stretches of play or falling into big deficits or going to extremely hostile road environments or whatever it may be, like they always find a way to stay level and don't let adversity cripple them. And in fact, they almost seem to get stronger when they face that stuff. So the Minnesota game was the most recent example, like I said, without Frager, and trailing again at half. That was just the 4th time this season, or I believe it was the 5th time this season they've trailed at the half. So that was kind of a new territory for them, and have to do it on the road without one of your best players, like that was just kind of the next step in this team's growth to being about as hardened to adversity as you can imagine. So they've got a new one now. I mean, now you're playing one of the best teams in all college basketball on their home floor, and Michigan hasn't been playing that well. And I think Dusty May's message is, it's hard to say they're not playing well because they're still really good, but like to their standard of where they were earlier in the year, they've kind of been, I don't know, going through the motions a little bit. And I think that the message going into this one is Dusty May is going to challenge those guys. They haven't been playing hard enough. So I would expect to see Michigan absolutely locked in for this marquee game. And how is Nebraska going to handle that? I don't expect Braden to be back for this one. I guess we'll find out here later this afternoon for sure. But I think it would be a miracle if he plays. So you're going to be down again, one of your best guys. And clearly that kind of threw your offense out of sorts against a much lesser opponent in Minnesota. Now you got to try to go do it again on a short rest. Back-to-back road games, and now you're playing one of the top national title contenders in the country. And so this is about as monumental of a task as Nebraska's faced all season and probably will face all season long. But to this point, every kind of new benchmark of adversity and tests that they've had to face, they've cleared them and passed them with flying colors. So I think that gives you at least some reason to believe that, as daunting as this game might seem, just from an analytics standpoint, tomorrow night, this group is built to handle pretty much anything that's put in front of them. And I guess that gives you at least some hope that they'll be able to respond and find a way once again, even against their tallest task that they've faced yet.
Again, we're speaking to Robin Washut with HuskerOnline.com. Well, Washut, I know we talk about mental stamina, mental toughness. I think we have to shout out Kurt Joseph and what he's done from the stamina side of this group as they do get better in second halves with that. But also talk a little bit about what you see from, we talked this a little bit about, you are now the hunted, where Nebraska typically is out hunting, right? But what that looks like from your perspective from them, because you see the cinematic recaps. By the way, shout out, you got your voice on the cinematic recap. I heard it. I don't know if anybody else caught it at the beginning of that. I got you. Okay. But
there we go.
That being hunted right now for Nebraska, because, I mean, you saw Fred and part of that recap, you even said it, maybe the match you've ever seen them. in there. Nate seems like to always be grinding like that, but the mentality of now you're being hunted because somebody out there wants to put that other side of that slate. They want to put that first loss on your side of the slate.
Yeah, it's new territory, but I think at this point they've shown that they're built to handle success. So I'm not worried about them kind of getting quote unquote fat and happy, or starting to feel like they've already reached the mountaintop, because I think that there's still a lot more out there for them, and that's kind of been their mentality. That that's as good as these first 20 have been, and as impressive as everything that they've accomplished has been to date. The job's not finished yet, and there's going to be even harder challenges up next. And clearly, I think that's probably a good thing that they're. And this is one of the rare games left on the schedule where they're not hunted. They're playing a team that's ranked ahead of them that is arguably one of the best in all of college basketball. So that, I think, at least helps. I think probably keep the focus, despite being 20-0. They still have the mentality that they have a lot left to prove. And I think within the Big Ten, they've earned that respect. But I still think nationally, they've got people that for whatever reason still don't believe in them, and they still say, well, it's Nebraska. And now this is going to be another one of those moving the goalpost games where, all right, yeah, they've done well so far, but now we'll really see what they're all about. And if they lose, they're like, yeah, we told you, they're frauds, and they're a pretender, all that sort of thing. So I think that is, if you're looking for still ways to motivate this team despite being 20-0 and doing something no other Nebraska basketball team has ever done, that's perfect ammunition right there, where as much as you've done and as much as you've accomplished, there's people that still don't believe in you. And this is a kind of a, the flip side of the coin. As tough of a test as Michigan's going to be, it's also probably a beautiful opportunity to, have Nebraska once again shut their haters up and, show that they are the real deal, and they are, a legitimate top 5 and maybe even beyond team. Because if you go and beat Michigan on their home floor in a game with these stakes, I mean, this is like conference championship stakes on the line. If you go and do that, I mean, it's not far-fetched to say that Nebraska couldn't be in consideration for the number 1 team in the nation. I don't think that that's a stretch. Arizona's playing well, but yeah, so is Michigan. And if Nebraska goes in there, goes to 21-0 and beats Michigan on their home floor, I don't know if there's anything else they could do to earn that respect. So talk about a motivator. That's, I think, as a coach, kind of it's never a dream to have to play a team of Michigan's caliber on their home court. At least you have, that carrot now you can dangle out there that, yeah, you're 20-0. Everybody's talking about how great you are. But if you lose this one, people are going to tell you, I told you so. And so that's, I think, a perfect way to help get through a pretty big grind of back-to-back road games and some difficult travel against a incredibly talented opponent that should leave no shortage of gas in the tank for them going into this one.
Robin, break down this Michigan team that Nebraska is going to come up against for me. It feels like they do turn the ball over a little bit. They can shoot it pretty decent, but didn't have the greatest shooting game against Ohio State. Yaxel Hindenburg's a monster. Could you just break down what kind of challenge Nebraska is facing tomorrow in this Michigan team?
It's every challenge. Elite guard play, lottery pick level talent, and Yaxel, one of the best shot blocking centers in the conference in Mara. They have shooters on all 5 positions. They get out and run. They play as good of a defense as there is in the country, and they just don't let up. They come at you in waves with their depth. They go 10, 11 deep. So that's there's really no armor or like weakness in the armor when you look at Michigan. And I guess turnovers might be it, but they have so much firepower that more often than not, they're able to overcome some of that ball security. And some of that ball security issues come with just them taking risks, like turning it over, trying to chuck a half-court alley-oop because they have dudes that can do that. Nebraska doesn't have dudes that can do that. So that's I don't know where you start if you're Nebraska. I think it's like always, defensively, that's priority number 1. You have to play your best defensive game of the season. There's no question about it, because if you don't, Michigan will boat race you. That's the situation Nebraska's in. If they play like they did the first 20 minutes against Minnesota, they're going to get torched. So they have to play like the second 20 minutes. And if they are able to maintain that level of defense, that will give them a chance, because it will help them create turnovers. It will help them not have to take the ball to the basket every possession, and it'll help them play with the pace that they need to play with for their offense to reach its full potential. So there's kind of a priority checklist where it starts defensively, like always. They have to take away the paint. If you're going to let Michigan beat you, make them have to hit a bunch of threes, because at least then, they're shooting a higher degree of difficulty. But if they let them just do whatever they want at the rim, then it's game over. So I think you take away the paint, and then have to be as aggressive with your challenges and closeouts on every shot, and hope that you can force them into a bad shooting night, create some turnovers, and then obviously on the other end, you need your guys to be guys. You need Price to be locked in the way that he's been the last 4 games. You need Rink Mass to play much better, or shoot the ball much better than he has been. He's really been struggling with his shot over the last 3 or 4 games. And the fact that Nebraska's winning in spite of that kind of speaks to kind of their evolution as a team. But in a game like this, Rink Mast is your best player. He is the guy that you built this roster around. And when you're playing the best team on your schedule, you need your best player to be at his best. So that's kind of offensively, this has to be a big Rink game. I think that his ability to draw Mara out of the paint when he's on the floor, that's kind of the biggest aspect to Nebraska's offensive success is Rink shooting better from the perimeter, drawing Michigan out of the paint to allow that offense to flow the way it needs to flow. If he has a cold night and they're able to pack the paint and make Nebraska have to just shoot over him, that could be a bad recipe for the Huskers. So that's I think the formula that Nebraska has to follow. Much easier said than done. But again, I do think there's a path for Nebraska to put themselves with a chance to win this game in the final minutes. And if all they need is a chance, because so far they've been better than anybody in the country at finishing when they have that opportunity.
Hey, Robin, real quick, let's talk about the guards real quick a little bit, because there's some stats that kind of jumped off the pages. I was looking at the season total stats. 8 or 9 turnovers a game. Really impressive. Talk about how they've valued the basketball. But on the flip side, I just wrote down 4 of them, between Price, J-Law, Sam, and Kale, they average total 16 boards a game. And Price and I know is going to get credit for the 22 points, but we forget to slide over and look at that number that he had a double-double in 10 boards. But talk about how that group continues not just to put up good numbers on the scoring side, but the turnovers being at 8 or 9 a game, and then there's 16 boards a game.
Yeah, that has to come. They have to do that with the way that they force teams to shoot threes. So there's always a lot of long rebounds. And so the way that they their defense is schemed to take away the paint, they do that baseline trap, and they make you have to beat them from the perimeter. And when you make teams shoot that many from the perimeter, you're going to get long rebounds. And so that's where the guards with a nose for the ball and understanding how to anticipate how the ball is going to bounce off the rim and have the effort to beat their opponent to the basketball, that's how you get numbers like that. And that's why Sam Hoiberg's so good. I mean, he's the smallest guy on the floor, yet he's their leading defensive rebounder. And it's because he understands how to track the ball and how to put in more hustle to get to it first. And then he's strong too. He's short, but he's about as sturdy as the guy is out there. And so when he gets the ball in his hands, he's not letting it go. And he can rip the ball away from bigger opponents. So Jamarcus, I think, is in that conversation too, and Price, obviously, and Kale, they know that their bigs are going to clear out other teams' bigs. But by doing that, a lot of times they're not going to be in position to get longer rebounds. And so it's their job to crash after those shots and make sure they're cleaning up to not allow second chance opportunities. So that's a big part of it, is just the mentality and the understanding of how to be a good rebounder. But, you don't just make a good rebounder. It's kind of a natural instinct. And the lucky thing for Nebraska is they've got a backcourt full of guys that are natural rebounders.
Well, Watch, appreciate your time. I'm really excited for you because we got through the NFL and we have a Super Bowl set, and I think you're going to get a chance to watch it this year because I'm pretty sure you didn't watch it last year.
I did not.
I know you did for a lot of reasons.
Had no interest in that Super Bowl whatsoever.
But I'm glad for you now. You don't have to worry about that. And you get to watch it this year.
Yeah, I don't really care about either team. I'd rather not see the Patriots win just because, I don't know. There's ever been a more spoiled fan base in NFL history. I can't think of another one. And I just wish that when the Patriots are in the playoffs, like somebody besides the Giants could beat them in the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, like we can't do it all. Like, we need some help from the 30 other teams in the league. Like, let's all step up and do our part here. Like, you know, we'll try to get back there and help the rest of the league out. But in the meantime, we need Seattle to, you know, keep those guys humble.
Well, Rob, we appreciate you, brother, man. Safe travels to Michigan. You made it back from Minnesota. But safe travels to Ann Arbor.
Don't know if he wants to go back there.
We're not going there.
Yeah, hopefully not making that trip anytime soon.
Safe travels to Ann Arbor, my friend, and we'll be ready for the next courtside with Robin Washit as well.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, Washit. Take care of yourself, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Robin Washit, HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff on him. You should check out his courtside with Robin Washit. He just launched this going courtside and post-game stuff on YouTube where he's actually in the facility, in the venue, and he walks you around and gives you a little peek of what it looks like to be on the road and talk to some of the guys.
It's great content.
Yes.
It's great content.
It's good stuff. So, all right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got NFL stuff to talk about. Also, I want to talk about thoughts of this. I don't know if you've seen this as of lately, but Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, put out.
He's back again, isn't he?
Yeah, but you
He's
might agree
back
with
again.
this. But you might agree with this. I want to get your take when we come back. Can you find your players these days? I don't know. Let's talk about that when we return.
Shane, I'm going to tell you this right now.
It's fantastic.
Y'all gotta beat the Patriots, please. For the love of God.
We got you, Robin. Go Hawks. What it's about, Barlow?
Well, I don't know. The last time they played the Patriots, we decided to not hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
I know.
And we decided to throw a slant.
The ghost.
God, I can't believe it. Also, I love how Robin conveniently fails to mention that the Eagles did, in fact, beat the Patriots in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. Last year was just it was a bad spot for Washit.
Oh, yeah, Chiefs-Eagles. The Chi-Eagles.
Yeah.
Who won to watch
a
that?
huge Giants fan that we all know that he is, and then on the other side, it was just numbing to him.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even make the playoffs this year. They were cooked. Cooked.
Good stuff. Well, I can't wait for tomorrow night. That's a Peacock game, by the way.
It's on
our side.
6 o'clock.
It's on our side. We're undefeated on Peacock.
It's 6 o'clock.
Of course, we're undefeated everywhere, but that channel, it's kind of been good to us.
I don't know if we're undefeated on Peacock.
We are this year.
Well, we are this year.
I'm just going with it this year.
I was about to
it's
say
the alternate channel.
I was about to say last year.
It's the alternate channel.
I was about to say last year we did blow a lead.
Yeah, it's an alternate channel this year.
Yep,
I like it. Well, some people are like,
yeah, sorry, Shay, but hey, you get a chance to rectify previous wrongs. Can we say it like that? And actually run the ball on the goal line. Although I don't know if you're gonna put it in Kenneth Walker's hands on the goal line. Just saying. Am I wrong in that? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hey,
I'm gonna be flying back. I'm gonna miss the Super Bowl.
Hooksy.
I'm gonna be in the air.
Hooksy.
It's okay. I'm coming back from a golf trip.
Just hope you get a TV and then get the in-flight.
I'm buying the Wi-Fi on my phone, fully charged.
I know you're buying the Wi-Fi. Put it on the company hooks. It's tax write-off. It's for business.
Am I wrong? I've looked at the schedule going for hoops. Obviously, not a big deal. We'll watch tomorrow night at home. We'll be down early on Sunday for the whiteout, by the way. Whiteout.
We're probably going to be favored against Illinois and Purdue, by the way.
And Rutgers. But, I looked ahead because I always, look at the stretch. It's like the Tuesday, February 10th at 6 o'clock. Am I bad dad, good dad? I'm taking my kid out of school early because we got to get down there.
Good dad. Good dad. That's a once-in-a-lifetime sporting experience.
Okay. Well, we've done it I did it when he was 7 as well.
Well, good dad. I'm not going to shame you.
Who
am I to shame you?
And kids are all about getting out of school early. So, look, there's another one, the 25th, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, can I offer some hope for tomorrow night? Can I? Michigan did shoot like crap against Ohio State. They also got beat up on the glass. Ohio State did get to them.
It's just it's a matchup.
Also, Nebraska has seen Adai Mara and Morez Johnson before. So, and you've seen a lot of guys on those rosters. So, if anybody knows how to beat them, you've seen them before. Obviously, you haven't seen Yax, but he isn't shooting the 3-ball the greatest.
Yeah.
So if you make him live on the perimeter and shoot 8 threes, you might be okay. there is the world where they get the off shooting night, they have the outlier shooting night, and then you just play good enough defense to ride it out. Because Wisconsin had the outlier shooting night, and I get they won by 3, but I think Nebraska's a better team than Wisconsin.
Yep. I mean, it's an interesting play. It'll be just fine. We'll be just fine.
My thing is,
I don't want Husker fans to react if the sky won't be falling.
No, if you lose, it's whatever.
It's a massive week, though.
You get a free hit.
That was my biggest thing with this team was when they lose. They're going to lose somewhere. What is the reaction after?
If you lose on the road at top 5 Michigan, you got it. You got it. If that's what it takes to beat Nebraska as a top 5 team, congrats.
Yep. Thanks, Todd. If you have YouTube TV, the game tomorrow is on NBCSN. If you have YouTube TV as well.
It's good work, Cooksey. That's good.
It's the people.
The people have an appetite. All right.
Let's roll.
Let's do it.
Welcome back in the morning. Hookup, a few moments left. Thanks for hanging out with us. Special thanks to Robin Washington, HuskerOnline.com. Hey, I want to ask, these players are getting paid, right?
They're getting a little bit of money. They're getting some coin now.
Yeah, they're getting paid. And again, I know when I say this, Coach Prime, they come off a 3-9 season, which we're like, oh, okay.
He's in the headlines for everything but football these days, isn't he?
So we had a meeting. I want to get your take. This might be okay. Is this okay to do?
Okay, I'll reserve judgment.
He has a new set of rules. Right? Here's your rules. You're getting paid. How about if we start fining you?
Oh.
He has penalties for players. Get your take. What do you think? Is this okay in the landscape of college athlete being paid? Late to practice, $500. No show to practice, $2,500. Late to a meeting, $400. No show to meeting or film session, $2,000. Late to strength and conditioning workout, $1,000. No show to strength and conditioning, $1,500. Late to treatment, $1,000. No show for treatment, $1,500. Violation of team rules based on severity, $1,000 to $2,500. Public or social media misconduct, $2,500 to $5,000 based on severity.
I mean, you want to get them to behave in the modern era. You got to go for the pockets. You got to go for the wallets. What's going to hurt a young guy with money more than taking the opportunity to use that money? I don't like giving credit to Deion.
I know,
but I will say it's a pretty shrewd move to get your players, focused on anything but the money. That being said, you got to win some football games soon. You're not coming off a fraud watch, Deion. I'm just telling you that. But this is a good idea. You go for the wallet. You incentivize players to actually, care a little bit. You incentivize them to get front row in class.
Like they want to get paid and be employees and like NFL guys and, carry it like that. Now, some judge is going to think this is too harsh. Well, they're college kids.
I'm sorry, but some judge also gave an injunction for Charles Bediako to play college basketball.
I know.
Some judges need to, keep their grubby little paws out of college athletics.
I think Deion's on to something.
I think Deion might be on to something.
He also goes on to say profanity needs to stop. I've heard it myself, especially in the dying area. It needs to stop. We're not the only ones in the cafeteria. You need to be respectful. Make sure we respect our women. If you get out of pocket and start calling our women by their first name, that's a problem with me. I mean, it's other than their first name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with this. Deion might be right.
And listen, I'm not saying like all judges are bad and shouldn't be involved in making rulings.
Nope.
I'm not saying that. There is a select few that may or may not have conflicting interests that may need to step away from certain situations. And that being said, Deion might be onto something. Deion has always been about preaching and being respectful to not only yourself, but to the people around you, the elderly, the women, the children. Yep. He has been about setting a good example. That being said, his football teams have not set a good example in terms of performing on their field. But he is trying to instill in culture, and it is hard to instill culture in college athletics these days naturally.
When someone how do you make it as much as you or more than you or more your coaches,
right.
That he also says cell phones, food, or drinks are no longer allowed in team meeting rooms. He's taking distractions out of your way.
That's good, because if he was about to say he's taking phones out of the cafeteria, I think that would be kind of a conflicting interest with some of the youth of today, where some of them have become, how do we call them, iPad children who do not want to eat without an electronic device in the general vicinity. But I get it. You want to take distractions out of team meetings. You know, some professional teams do it. Some professional teams don't. Sometimes you just ask your players to be professional and care because you're getting paid a lot of money. So I totally get it. I get it from Deion's perspective. You want to cultivate a real culture, and you want to, treat it like a professional environment. And who better to do that than an NFL Hall of Famer?
I just think it's incredible. When I brought up Deion in Colorado, everybody's like, oh.
No, I get it.
Treat them like that.
Yeah.
Treat them
like professionals.
Yes. Until that's where we kind of are.
Until some judge comes in and says, right, now you have to give them health benefits, and we got to do all the insurance stuff, and then you got to go through that red tape. But we will get there when we'll get there.
I think Deion's on to.
He might be on to something. There might be some people that have been saying in recent years that Deion's on something. No, I think he's on to something. He might be on to something. I think that's the proper word.
He's been in Boulder too long. He on to something.
Yeah, when you stay within Colorado state lines, the lines blur a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Intended. They're a little murky.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
How about the bowl? How about the bowl we got coming up?
We got a good one coming up. We got a good one coming up because coming up in the second hour, we're going to talk the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about the weekend that was. We're going to talk about the Seahawks and the Patriots. That we're going to have Evan Bland.
Right, but before we get to all that, Hooksy, I need the temperature check on your heels. Where are you at?
Big win the other night.
Big win the other night.
We're going to talk college basketball.
After Cal smacked them around.
Yeah, boy, they just didn't play defense. That's the one thing this in college hoops, anything sport, but college hoops. If your defense doesn't get right in travel, every given night you can get blown out. No, I mean, Carolina is scoring at a good rate.
Right.
They don't defend at a good rate.
Right.
Now, they woke up. It took a while, but they were down 16 and won at Virginia. A very good Virginia team. Was like number 2 in the ACC at the time. Now, what's the response? They responded well out coming back from the West Coast. There was doubt. I believe there was doubt in me. I didn't know if they would defend. But they defended well. They shot it well. Caleb Wilson was phenomenal. He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, if only he could shoot the 3 ball.
Yep, I know, but boy, he's pretty athletic.
I think Vasar's doing that plenty, though.
Vasar's been maybe one of the better. Like people talk about like Price Sanford being like maybe the most impactful transfer out there, or like in at least one of them. I think Vasar could be one of those guys too.
Yeah,
with impactful transfers.
It probably is just Yaxel, but yeah, I know. I totally get it. I mean, the guy's ripping it at a 47% clip from 3.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's only shot 55, but you're still ripping it at a 47% clip no matter what. I mean, that is impressive. And back-to-back great wins on the resume. Home against Notre Dame. You beat up on them. Then you go on the road to Virginia, who's having a really good season. Virginia's been pretty good. They're a good ball club.
They were at 14 coming in the other day.
Bracket Matrix has you as a 6 seed right now, Hooksy.
Probably about right. And again, I will also say this, being in the ACC fan, they're probably the 3rd best conference, maybe the 3rd or 4th best conference in the country, by the way. Well, I mean, we could argue this. We could be Big Ten, I think, is number 1.
I think the Big 12's up there.
Big 12 is – so here's my 4 I would put. I think Big Ten and SEC, Big Ten's number 1, in my opinion. Now, what do you rank the next 3? Big 12, SEC, ACC. I think ACC's 4th.
Really?
I do.
See,
because you look at like –
they might be better than the SEC.
I don't know. That's debatable, 3 or 4. But I think maybe you throw the Big 12 at 2. Who's 3 or 4?
Right, you could have a conversation. I think,
but I think number 1 is
best.
I think number 1 is number 1.
Yeah, no, the Big Ten is going to get like 10 or 11 teams into the tournament this year. It's a pretty deep league, and then you can go right. The Big 12's top 5 is pretty darn good.
Yes,
that's a pretty darn good top 5.
Like you look at,
I think the SEC's like depth is sneaky terrible.
It hasn't been updated as of yet this morning, but like
Kentucky sucks
when you look at it right now, and I think this could flip as these games progress. Right now. This was about 3 days ago, and I know that these guys will update bracketology as the AP gets announced. They're looking at 10 Big 10 teams, 9 ACC, 9 SEC, and 7 Big 12.
Right, but the top end of that Big 12 is incredible.
If you're like me, I watch some really stinking good hoops.
Oh, I watched that Saturday slate was incredible.
I couldn't get up off my chair.
But like between Arizona, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Houston, do you have a better top four? I mean, the Big Ten will probably go right. They'll probably go right. We have Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State. Take your pick of those. So like a top five, like you could really have a conversation. Okay, if Kansas is your fifth best team, you could have a conversation between the Big 12 and the Big 10. But I think like the depth wise, it's just so much better.
It was just such good basketball. Houston and Texas Tech battling it out on the floor, they played two phenomenal games so far. What was the other game I was watching? I watched other games. I forgot. There was so many good hoops on.
Yeah. Real quick before we get out, Nebraska beats Michigan. They on the one line.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Good man.
I think there's no doubt about it. I think they're borderline there now.
Oh, they are borderline there now. Bracket Matrix has them as their top 2 seed.
Yes, they're there now.
I think there's no way, even if they lose out, that this team slips below like a 4.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
I agree.
I'm so serious.
I agree. Boy, coming up again, like we said, we're going to talk NFL, college hoops, Evan Lemon, Omaha Ward Hill, and a whole lot more. Sit back, relax. We'll be right back.
Station FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
Preston. A federal judge will hear arguments today on whether she should temporarily halt the immigration crackdown in Minnesota that has led to the fatal shootings of 2 people. President Trump sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota as frame-by-frame investigations are done into the Saturday shooting death of Alex Pretty. Here's ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky.
Both of Pretty's hands are visible. One holds the phone. The other he held up seemingly to protect himself from pepper spray.
Whoa!
Pretty is seen being pepper sprayed. 3 officers grapple with him until he's taken down and held on the frozen pavement. Another group of officers then surrounds him. At 9:01, the federal officer in a gray jacket emerges from the scrum with a gun that appears to match the one Pretty had a permit to carry. Almost simultaneously, the first shot is fired.
Pretty was a legal gun owner and did have a permit. FBI Director Kash Patel saying on Sunday it's illegal to bring a gun to a protest.
It's a stark contrast to what many Republicans, including the president, had to say about Kyle Rittenhouse carrying an assault-style rifle through Kenosha, Wisconsin in 2020 before opening fire, killing 2 men. He was acquitted on the charges. President Trump called him a very nice young man. Minnesota officials say Pretty was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry, a right protected under the Second Amendment.
ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott. 11,000 flight cancellations Sunday, described as one of the worst days in aviation history thanks to the massive winter storm that affected 200 million Americans.
The airlines began stripping flights from their schedules on Friday when they saw how intense and widespread the weekend storm was going to be. All told, around 3,800 flights have been canceled today with over 1,000 delays. Around half the operations at New York's 3 major airports have been scrapped.
ABC's Jim Ryan checking the markets. The Dow's up 175. This is ABC News.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA.
Weekend shooting in Minneapolis by federal immigration officials has many cities, including Lincoln, on edge. Good morning. I'm Jeff Modes. We're at 2 above zero at KFOR. That deadly shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy, a nurse that was allegedly shot by a federal immigration agent on Saturday in Minneapolis, has prompted more protests than Twin Cities and across the country, including here in Lincoln. Former KFOR personality Ward Jacobson, who lives in Minneapolis and just miles from where both shootings took place, told KFOR News federal officials are not allowing local law enforcement to come in and investigate the shooting.
That's the Minneapolis Police Department. People are thinking, who is in charge here? Who are we answering to? They've been denied access. That's very scary when you start to hear that. And for all three there have been 3 shootings. The one man was shot in the leg in North Minneapolis. He survived. None of those scenes were local officials allowed access.
Jacobson says that city and state officials are doing the best they can to get a handle on the situation. He adds and clarified that Minneapolis itself is not crumbling, contrary to some online accounts on social media. According to the Associated Press, the Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement that federal officers were conducting an operation and fired defensive shots after a man with a handgun approached him and violently resisted when officers tried to disarm him. A legislative proposal could be one of the last hurdles facing an $800 million deal meant to leave the University of Nebraska as the sole owner of Nebraska Medicine. And the bill appears to be gaining traction after a restructuring late last week of the nonprofit's board. LB 1125 from Elkhorn Senator Tony Sorrentino would require legislative approval before NU could acquire controlling or sole interest in any hospital or healthcare facility valued at more than $100 million. That could include the planned deal for Nebraska to assume sole ownership of Nebraska Medicine from longtime partner Clarkson Regional Health Services, which wants out. Sunshine today and a high of 27. I'm Jeff Modes, KFOR News.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? The Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you with high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Visit the store at 27th and Pine Lake Road across from South Point Mall or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA. Come in and take a free test walk today. Good Feet arch supports are proudly made.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back. Welcome back in the morning. Okay, hour number 2. Yeah, one thing I'm over is being cold.
I feel that.
I'm over being cold.
I am tired of this.
Like, this is, I mean, again, not going to do it. We like Husker basketball. We're very blessed to be with our coach. We have been blessed with the weather we've had so far. Winter really hit us in the face this past weekend. I hope everyone out there, by the way, it is tough times because if it gets cold, I hope people have found warmth somewhere, whether it be, where, just that you have a place to go. And there's a lot of people that don't have the luxuries of staying warm and things like that. So, but it is so cold. Like, I didn't even realize. I mean, I did because I don't go out in it, right? At least possible. But when I let the dogs out, they usually like spend some time out there. Mm-hmm. Nope. They went out and did it and came back.
they bounced in. They were like, nope, Hooksy, it's a negative. We got to go back in.
Also recognizing all the parents this morning that probably had to wake up their kids, and their kids were, one, probably assuming they were getting off school today again for a cold day.
You thought.
Mine were a little grumpy. It wasn't as bad because, like, you got to go to bed early. You wake up. When that comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You got to go to school.
Right. You got to wake up expecting to go to school.
Yes. But they were a little this morning.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there. And again, I don't envy making that decision because I heard a lot of people this morning talk about, well, on Thursday night and the Friday morning, it was this temperature. Sunday night going into Monday morning was this temperature.
Mhm.
Why? I tell my kids all the time, I do not make those decisions, and I don't envy that being in that seat to make that decision. So get your butt up and go to school.
Right.
That's all it was. Speaking of weather, boy, we had to watch a game on Sunday, that turned really nasty weather.
Talk about weather.
It came in
Brother.
quick. Ugly, ugly, ugly football game that had the Patriots 10-7.
Hey, but how about that run at the end by Drake May to seal it?
Boy, did you read stuff about that he went off script?
Of course he did. He's Drake May. I mean, why wouldn't that guy go off script?
Incredible. I think you're going to go down and look at a little bit of this game. Obviously, a really nasty looking game. 206 yards of offense on one side. Another 181 for Denver had 181. My goodness. Stidham, he did throw 17 to 31, 133. Made a few errors in the game. Obviously, you look at the take the sack moment versus the backwards pass situation that cost them. Also, the interception that came late. Drake May, 10 of 21, 86 on the other side. They ran the football pretty effectively. Not a pretty game, but at the end of the day, this will also go down and be like coach's decision time. What happened? Sean Payton, maybe the field goal was the chance to go. Again, it also was a field goal disaster. What was there? 4 either misses / blocks in this game?
Yeah, just complete special teams gaff.
But it came a disaster in the second half with the snow, the wind, the weather.
Yeah, it was just
out of nowhere.
You weren't going to play special teams in that weather. I'm just going to say it. Kick in the snow, unless it's like a 25-yarder.
Yeah.
There was no way they were playing that. No way. No way you're getting a field goal up in that. If you can, you're a professional for a reason, brother.
Yes, you are. But it was a nasty type game. But
it wasn't the same as that other game.
No, somebody had to win, and you guess what? The Patriots are headed back to the Super Bowl. I guess you look at it and go, "Boy, Mike Vrabel, Tennessee Titan, what were you thinking? What were you doing when you got rid of maybe one of the best in the league to come in a year and take that team, turn it upside down with a very young, talented quarterback and head your bus to the Super Bowl?"
Hey, in defense of the Tennessee Titans, they thought they got one with Brian Callahan. They thought they got one. And, you know, sometimes in life, in sports, you make erroneous decisions. And you don't know that they're erroneous. When everybody else around you see that they're erroneous, you may not see that
you
it's
can't
erroneous.
see it.
I'm not going to call it an organizational failure because they thought they had their guy, Hooksy, but it was very clear they let their guy get away.
They let their guy
get away. Now he's gonna go compete for a Super Bowl in his first year.
In the nightcap, Seahawks 31-27. Very entertaining game. If you watch the 2 previous games with these teams, 2 very talented quarterbacks. One presumably will probably be the MVP of the league when you go back and look at this one. 22 of 35, 374, 3 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford, the aging quarterback. 25 of 36, 346, 3 touchdowns on the other side of that one. Receivers just had days. JSN, 12 targets, 10 catches, 153, 1 touchdown. It befuddles me. Maybe it's the scheme or whatever. The fact that in the first half they could lose him multiple times.
Yeah, but that's the Rams secondary. That's kind of the Rams secondary for you. They weren't the brightest spot on that defense all season.
This was heavyweight punch after heavyweight punch. Puka, another nice game, 9 catches, 165 and a touchdown, 4 for 89 for Adams. When it looked like that it was going to be a runaway, they just kept punching. The Rams kept punching. Obviously, another special teams gaff in that one, the botched punt.
Yes.
In that one, gave him up there. And also, you're going to go back, and Sean McVay is going to go back and probably beat himself just a little bit for the 4th and 4, going for it, not taking 3, putting some pressure on Seattle in that for going for it, and end up presumably just being the end of the game.
You know, I throughout this game, there is one moment that I do want to talk about. Tariq Woolen, how are you going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and then immediately get barbecued the next play? And I mean rotisserie, Hooksy. Puka Nacua put that brother in the salt shaker and just spun him loose.
Yeah. I don't want to put that, like, football players in a box, but why?
Well, like,
why do you leave yourself open and exposed to do that stuff? Whether it be you sack a quarterback and you got your dance and stuff like that, and you take it too far, or that kind of situation where you're like taunting a sideline, like make the play, do a stare for a minute, and move on.
Yeah.
But he took it to that level, and you could see. You see Adams?
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the ref's ear, as he should, as a competitor should. You should be like, hey, no, flag that guy. What's he doing?
Yeah, get him to this other side.
No,
We're done with the play. You made a play. It's fine.
I totally get it. Now, I am, unless it's the Rams Saints circa 2018 and it's a blatant pass interference call, I am pro less penalties in the playoffs. That's my thing. Unless it's bad, I don't want you throwing it. Let's play a little bit. It's the playoffs. I want to see.
Well, you kind of go back. It felt like that. And then if you go back to the national championship game with Miami and Indiana, they let them play. That was fun.
I was a big fan of that.
It made the elements right. Unless it was egregious, then you throw it. But man,
right. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I want in the playoffs. And so immediately when I saw that taunting call, I'm like, right, taunting call. But then when Puka's given Tariq Woolen lip, I'm like, okay, I want a taunting on that. Like everything from then on, I was like, I want a taunting on that. I'm like, if you're gonna call it once, call it again. And I'm a stickler about it. And I know I'm probably a bad person to be around at parties, but listen, I want either let them play or call everything. Don't live in the middle. Living in the middle is bad. Bad as an official. But Tariq Woolen, you are not getting away with that. You're not. You throw the thumbs down to the sideline, you're letting them have it, and then Puka absolutely barbecues you the next route for a 34-yard touchdown. And that is unacceptable.
And that led to a little bit of animosity in their sideline.
I don't care that they're going to the Super Bowl. You can't get barbecued like that after doing that. Congratulations on the win. Personally, you got to take a moment of reflection and go, man, I look really incredibly stupid right now. Because you do.
His teammates let him know about it.
And
they should. Well, it's set a couple weeks from now on Sunday, the 8th at 5:30. Seahawks, Patriots at current opening line, 4.5.
Can we do an opening line on whether it actually starts on time?
Never. Yeah, that's minus like $1 million.
Yeah, I know.
No way at 5:30. You might as well, if you're a little late, 5:45 is probably okay.
Who's the halftime this year? Is it Bad Bunny?
Yeah, Bad Bunny.
Okay. That won't be bad. That won't be bad at all. There's been some bad halftimes, but I don't think that one will be bad. He's at least entertaining.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
It'll be fine.
That game's definitely not starting on time.
No.
Do you have like a super
opening? There's opening, right? There's a good opener. Can't forget.
Do you for Super Bowl Sunday, like when you usually are sat down and you have your setup and stuff, like what is the go-to spread at the Hooks household?
It's varied because we typically host a party with all my buddies and stuff. Typically, we host.
So you ask people to bring stuff too.
No, well, kind of a little side here and there, but we'll do the main.
Yeah, right.
Like we've done what have we done? Like the taco bar set up.
I love that.
Multiple taco bars set up. We've also went the wings and rib burger slider set up.
Okay, so the dirty backyard barbecue.
Yeah,
love that.
We've done both those. I think we've kind of both. Like I think the preferred is the taco bar / bowl.
Right.
So like maybe a quasi like Chipotle or Cordoba type atmosphere look.
Okay, that's good. Like that.
And then usually somebody brings like the good old cheese dip you could throw on top of it.
You ever get a little 7-layer dip in there?
Oh yeah. All the dips are there. All the dips are there.
See, we loved in my household. We were a big charcuterie board for Super Bowls.
Really?
Oh, we love charcuterie boards.
I'm a big charcuterie board fan. I just have not done it for the Super Bowl.
See, it's game changing, Hook. See, because in our household, we would usually have a couple friends over, but then it's us, and we were a big household, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on Super Bowl Sunday, you want grab and go snacks, right? So you go to the charcuterie board and go with something small, and then after the Super Bowl, you have the big dinner, right? And so we would always do that big Black Forest ham. That's what we were always into.
Look at you. This all full on.
So we had it planned. So we were like, right, you'll snack. Like you get the chips and queso, right? You'll get
throw the meatballs in.
Yeah.
We do the meatballs too.
Yeah. Oof. You got to get some meatballs in there. So we do the chips and queso, and then you get a little, charcuterie board on the side, and you get all the snacks rolling up and going. And then you get some beverages, right? But then after you get the big dinner. So that's
after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, after the Super Bowl. Because then the family, like everybody's like, right. So I've been snacking, like, where's the dinner at? And so then you just put in the ham and everybody's then bam, you're out for the night.
Let us know what your Super Bowl is. What will be like mine this year. Again, I told you earlier, we on an airplane coming home.
So you are paying for that Wi-Fi.
Yes. Well, it's one of these things where I booked a golf trip, buddies. We always take one a year somewhere and just take off. And without even thinking, this is again, just the weekend that just worked. And not one of us of the four said, oh, by the way, that's Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, company expense.
Nope. We'll just be buying the Wi-Fi on the plane coming back. So.
Yep. Company expense.
Right, let's do this. Let's take a break and let's bring in our guy from the Omaha Word Herald, Evan Bland.
Good stuff, Hooks.
Yeah. Well, look
Super
at
Bowl
this.
Sunday is so fascinating food-wise.
It is. You know what? It's such a like that, and it's such a, like an event for me because
Right.
I don't have a dog in the fight too. Because I'm not like the a huge NFL fan. I love it to watch. Right.
Right.
You know, that's the reason I play fantasy football is to
Mhm.
watch NFL.
Right.
But everybody that comes over, it's like they all typically have a dog in the fight or something. So it's kind of fun. It's more of like the big social event for us.
See, because then you can if you know what teams are probably going to be in it ahead of time, you can invite select friends. Just
and we'll play the numbers game. Everybody
Mhm.
gets a number. We'll play the the quarters and the half and the game and all that for fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's squares.
That's good.
We'll do that.
That's good.
Then we'll critique halftime performances.
Do you ever go after the commercials? Do you ever have people there who are there for the commercials?
Oh, absolutely.
See, because I would imagine the wives especially are big into the commercials.
Yeah.
So
it turns into unique because upstairs now we have all the TVs going and they migrate. Like all the wives will be upstairs, all the men will be downstairs. Then the Super Bowl halftime show, everybody gets together.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes back.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Well, because usually halftime you're probably getting the refills on the drinks,
refill beverages,
making sure that you're loading up
some
your
more
snack
snacks.
platter.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
My boys give me a hard time because I mentioned it to them. They're like, "You're gonna be what?" I'm like, "Yeah, man.
I'm be in the air, brother."
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna be home till 11:30
on the Slim Chicken's private jet.
Yeah. No, you're not gonna be home till I'm like, by the way, I'm also not gonna be home till 11:30. I haven't told them that part yet. That I'm actually not even gonna see them.
Oh, that's that might not be good. All right, let me ring up Evan real quick.
Yep. Beep, beep, beep.
All right, I'll just have to ring him coming out.
All right,
because the line's busy apparently. I don't know. All right,
could be us.
No, I don't know.
You, not me. You, me, not you. It's me.
I don't know. Here we go.
Welcome back in the morning. Hookup again. Happy Monday, Victory Monday. It'll mean a couple of different things for Evan. When we talk Victory Mondays or Victory whatever it is, it's all Huskers. He's a Broncos. So we'll have a little bit of cheering up to do with our guy Evan.
We got a little group therapy. We got some stuff we got to do. But
so I was reading this story when I mentioned earlier. CBS Sports put out an article about Drake May going rogue. In this, it said, according to the Boston Herald, Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels called an outside zone run for Stevenson on third down with 1:57 remaining in the fourth quarter. And apparently, instead of handing the ball off, May kept it and ran out to the left.
I'm glad he did because that's an incredibly stupid call on 3rd and 6. Sorry.
He said, the center said, I hit my block and all the defenders started coming around the other way. And he said, I'm like, what? OMG. Where's Drake?
He just took it around the left. Nobody expected it.
But May told his teammates after the game that he debated telling them he was going to keep the ball, but he decided not to tell them. That's amazing. He didn't tell him. He's like, I'm in the huddle like, this is the play, but I ain't doing it. We're not doing that. What an amazing one. Coming up, Evan Bland. Yeah, I think Ryan, I agree with you. I do agree with you. If Bo Nix is healthy, Broncos get the dub. I think so. I would agree. Definitely more plays to be made with Bo Nix. We got our guy.
We got him. We got him.
I know it's a little deflating Monday, but we got our guy.
It's me. It's me, Evan. I apologize. The phone lines were apparently temporarily busy, so I apologize.
Yeah, Evan blame on my word, Harold. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. It's I wish we were having a little better of a Super Bowl discussion this morning, but hanging in there.
I know. I usually say again, I come on and it's Victory Monday, so we got half a victory for you on Monday. We got, Huskers we're going to talk about in hoops going to 20-0, but Broncos, just a weird game. Like weird from the fact of, I think it's going to go back to it and go, well, what if Bo Nix was there? Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you look at it, man, the weather, holy moly, so Denver-like to have that storm come through, but then you're going to start questioning coaching decisions on certain plays in that game.
No doubt. I mean, the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 in the second quarter, like I wasn't, that was a first guess for me. It was just like, it just felt like it was going to be a low scoring game anyway. And to have the chance to go up 2 possessions, 10-0 early, the way the defense was playing, I mean, I was shocked that they went for it in that spot. And obviously they don't get it. And then you have a field goal that you miss before half from Will Lutz, who's usually very reliable, and then you have the block as well. And so, I thought the defense did everything that you could ask of it other than scoring a touchdown. And then, offensively, they had the one catastrophic mistake on the pass that was ruled a lateral, and that set up New England's one score. So, yeah, I mean, it hurt. Denver had the team, I thought, this year to go the distance, and like you said, you miss Bo Nix for sure, and then to have a few strategic decisions go against you, it hurts, as a fan. But I guess for those long-suffering Patriot fans, it's good for them to finally emerge from the malaise and be back having a chance to win another one.
Evan, just really quickly, just keeping on the Broncos theme here. Optimism for next year. You're feeling good about where your squad's at, a healthy Bo Nix, another year of Sean Payton. Depending on the draft and the offseason, are you optimistic for your Broncos for next season?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't be. We have another year of Nix. He's still on the ascent as one of the younger star quarterbacks in the league. The defense, continues to be solid. We'll see what happens with some of the coaches. Vance Joseph's been a big part of the defense. We'll see if he ends up getting a head coaching job or wants to run it back. But that game leaves a ton of vibes to me of like unfinished business type stuff, where you're just like, man, I think it's apparent to everybody there that they were good enough to go all the way. And like we said, a couple of things broke differently for them. But it just strikes me as a team that probably is going to be very motivated to run it back as much as they can. The schedule is going to be a little harder. You're going to play the first place schedule as opposed to, what Denver did last year. So maybe being a 1 seed will be a little more difficult, but I'm very optimistic. I think the culture there is really good. And, it feels like kind of the last couple of years, they've actually been ahead of schedule from sort of how things set up from a draft perspective. And so now, next year they should be a favorite. Should be a lot of fun to see what they do.
Well, Evan, you use a lot of good words there when we talk about Husker hoops. Optimistic, culture, on schedule, maybe ahead a little bit when you look at this unit they got going right now.
Can you throw fun in there?
Fun.
Too?
I mean, there's so many great words. Tough, all that, mentally ready to go. But that 20-0 start, an historic start, as we all know, for Nebraska. Now, maybe come today that they're going to be at number 5 and be higher than the other team way up north that's ever been, that we don't say their names. But talk about we've talked a little bit when you look at the mental makeup of this team, the stuff that you can check the boxes with so far, because down 16 at Assembly Hall, doing it right now without Frager in the mix, being down 6 the other night at the barn, which these are moments that a lot of basketball teams or any sports team, things could fall apart a little bit. You doubt yourself, but the mental makeup of this team it's pretty special in what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, being down 6 at halftime last weekend, it's like that would have sunk a lot of Nebraska teams, and not just because of the deficit, but because Minnesota was shooting it so well from 3 in the first half. Nebraska teams of the past would have fallen under the avalanche there a little bit. And I think Minnesota would have gotten hot and things could have turned differently. And this group just doesn't let the things that tripped up Nebraska ball in the past get in the way this time. You always waited for years for like, when's the scoring drought going to come? When's that going to be, that 4 or 5 minute stretch when they just can't buy a bucket? And now it's been the opposite. Now you're waiting for them to go on the run and to make it up in the second half. And then they did that in the second half against Minnesota, where they got in rhythm, and Bryce Sanford, does his best Jimmy Chitwood impression, and he's lighting it up from deep. And, Rink Mask continues to be really impressive, both as an outside shooter, obviously as interior defense, as a passer. You can just, I still think one of the most impressive things about the team is that you don't know night in and night out who's going to be your leading scorer or where that big run is going to come from. It could be Sam Hoiberg, it could be Jamarcus Lawrence, it could be a whole bunch of different guys. And the defense travels too. I think that's the other thing, is they're not just relying on, hey, are we going to have a hot night shooting from distance? But, you're going to lock down perimeter shooters, and you're going to rotate over on drivers. And like, they've just been really consistent with that. And so, now you've got this defining stretch of the season starting on Tuesday evening. And obviously Illinois is on the horizon, and Purdue as well. So, I think Nebraska certainly has done enough to prove doubters wrong. And now here's a chance to really just add more fuel to the fire. Really, really pack this bandwagon full. If they can win, in my opinion, 2 out of these next 3, you're still in great shape as a league contender and as a top seed in the postseason and all the other things. So just another chance at validation coming up in a season when they've answered the call at every turn.
Evan, you've worked at the OWH for a while. You've been in and around this Nebraska area. Can we talk about the local flavor on this team with Braden Frager, with Kale Jacobson from Ashland, with Sam Hoiberg, who I know bounced around the U.S. a little bit, but he's made a home here in Lincoln. Just a lot of local flavor to add on top of the fact that this team's 20-0. What does that say about not only what kind of talent the state's producing, but also just how fun it is and how easy it is to connect with this team from a local perspective right here in Nebraska?
Yeah, it's a good point. There have been moments in the last 6 or 7 years, especially with this team, where it has been almost entirely imports from other states or one and done guys or players who've been in and out. And so, yeah, it's more of a team I think fans can relate to. The guys that you mentioned, certainly. Sam Hoiberg is one of the more popular players this program's had in a number of years, maybe just a half step below Keisei Tominaga from recent seasons. But I think that's especially accentuated in this portal era, when rosters flip every year, and you almost do have to reacquaint yourself with everyone who's on the roster. Like it's not as common now to have these older teams be guys that have been in the program for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And so you do have some familiar faces there. People know Rink Math. He's been around a while. Jamarcus Lawrence was here and then gone and then came back. So there's a little bit more of a familiarity there. And yeah, certainly the basketball talent in the state of Nebraska has been good for, quite a while now. It hasn't always been talent that matriculated to Nebraska. A lot of times it has gone to other programs or out of state. And so you have a little bit more of that. Now, I think Frager especially has been a real revelation as a local kid who's legitimately in the running to be like 6th man of the year in the Big Ten, and somebody who is going to be a big part of what Nebraska wants to do for the next couple of years, as long as the NBA doesn't come calling. So I do think it's a reminder that, you certainly find the guys wherever they are, but if you can find those local guys who grew up, who have a little bit of an extra chip on their shoulder for the hometown team, who have support that's local, that can come and show up, it does add maybe a little bit more of a personal touch to what they're doing. And so, I think that's probably another little wrinkle that you can add in there into why this season's been so special.
Again, we're speaking to Evan Bland with the Omaha World Herald. Well, Evan, let's flip it up a little bit. Talk a little football. And you mentioned talent, and you mentioned the state. We got one coming down. You had a chance to catch up with one Trey Taylor and in his decision to make his way here, because it's been controversial, not for him. And again, I've said this, that this kid is going to be dynamic, just a person you got to catch up with. This is not his fault what is going on. He is playing by the rules. He is here to do what he believes is right for him and for the state in that class. I think that's one we should talk about. But also, give me a little peek in Trey Taylor, because I think people are having a hard time, one, with him coming here, fine, but two, really believing that he is that he's willing to come to Nebraska and bring, like, Tay Ellis and whoever else comes with him and be a part of and try to drive something so special in that 27 class.
Yeah, he's a really interesting person. I can't think of another Nebraska football recruit that I could compare him to in terms of the level of dedication he has for peer recruiting, because you hear it often, right? Like, guys commit to a school, especially quarterbacks, and they become sort of the ringleaders of the class. And Nebraska's had that, and other schools have that. But I think just the lengths that Trey Taylor will go to connect with other players, to immerse himself in the program, even to connect with fans, is very unique. I mean, I talked to him last September when he went around and he just would show up at fan tailgates and introduce himself and chat. And it's such a throwback sort of mentality. And he said he did it because he wanted to humanize himself and say, like, I'm just a guy. I'm a person who's going to come here and wanted to introduce myself and say what's going on. I mean, he sought out Tommy Frazier and got his number, and he sat in the student section with some of the 2026 commits at the time, just because he had the self-awareness to say, I've never done that before, and I'll probably never do that again, obviously, as a Nebraska player. And so when you ask him who his targets are as far as other peers that he wants to get to Lincoln, I mean, he'll list 7, 8, 9 guys without taking a breath. Like, he knows who he wants and whose relationships he's been able to build. And so now this is sort of that next step where there were moments he said he felt like last year where he really needed to be in Lincoln to meet a guy or to connect with coaches in some way. And he was 8 hours away out in the Chicago suburbs. And so he's taken it upon himself to move out to Lincoln and commute daily to Millard South for a semester and be on hand whenever he can or whenever Nebraska might want him to be there. And so I think the other thing that's worth noting with him and Tay Ellis to a degree is, like, these are guys who have been in the recruiting process since middle school. I mean, they got offers, like major offers, before they were even high school freshmen. And so, like, this idea that they're rushing themselves is true in the sense that, like, yeah, you're a senior and you don't have to move. But I mean, these guys are so they're so familiar with the recruiting process. Like, it's not really necessary for them to stay another semester in high school. Like, this is sort of a quasi redshirt year because they have so much experience playing football at a high level and dealing with colleges. So it'll be really interesting to see what the payoff is. And, I do think he's going to represent the program really well. And people, fans are probably going to enjoy going out to Millard South a little bit more on Friday nights and getting a sneak preview of what that offense could look like in a few years.
Evan, I'm going to switch sports on you again because we are 18 days away from Husker baseball. Yes, I'll say it again. We are 18 days away from Husker baseball. You've been covering the team for a while now. They've gotten into the practices in the spring now. They're going to open up in Arizona at this MLB Desert Invitational, UConn, Northeastern, Grand Canyon, Stanford. But then they've got that Ambidji Bank College Baseball Series against Louisville, Kansas State, Florida State, non-con series against Auburn. I mean, they have loaded up on this non-conference slate. Has Nebraska, including playing Kansas State, Kansas, and Creighton in the midweek, as well as a couple of Dakota schools. But Evan, just give me an overall preview of what the schedule is going to mean in the non-con for what we're going to find out about the Huskers and what you already know about this team with a pretty much overhauled roster from the offseason.
Yeah, the schedule's a bear for sure in the non-conference, and they made that conscious decision to go that way really 2 or 3 years ago. And this is certainly the case now when you're playing, Florida State's a top, I think, 15 team or so. Louisville's been a super regional type team. Auburn was a national seed last year. Kansas State's a couple years removed from being in the Final 16. So it's a monster slate, and it's one that is kind of a familiar refrain for Nebraska, where you're going to be doing the lion's share of your work building a postseason resume in the first month. And is that always fair to a northern school that's practicing inside most of the time? No, but that is the task that's laid out in front of them. And so, yeah, if you go 500 even in the first 3 weekends, I think that sets you up pretty well for what you want to do once you turn into the part of the home slate and the midweeks and the conference slate as well. I think the strength of this team, to me, continues to look like it's going to be the pitching, similar to what it was last year. And I think right now they've got 4 guys that they're going to look to fill 3 weekend spots with. And you don't have to even do that by opening weekend. I mean, you can start, you're going to have 4 games on that opening weekend anyway, but someone between Ty Horn and Cooper Katsky and Carson Yassa and Tucker Timmerman, I think you're going to get a pretty quality weekend rotation that'll emerge from that. A lot of depth in the bullpen. Kevin Minnell, the Mississippi State transfer on the back end, looks like a sort of this year's Luke Broderick as a stopper in the 9th inning. So you feel good about that. And then to me, the big question on the offensive side is, how does it pay off as they make this philosophical change from more of a small ball approach to power? I mean, they brought in, that was their main priority in the portal, was bringing in guys who hit home runs and doubles at a high rate at other schools, either at the junior college level or other levels of college ball. How does that translate over? You know, when Nebraska was hitting for power last year, combined with the pitching they had, they were really good. And when they didn't, which was quite often, I mean, they were the lowest scoring team in the league, then it was a little bit more up and down and inconsistent. So, if that offense can power up just a little bit and that pitching continues to look like it's going to, then, I think Nebraska will be in a lot of these early games. And again, that first month is going to go a long way in setting the tone for what they're going to have to do in the latter half of the year.
Well, I think our AD missed out an event because he talked about the spring game, potential an Elite 8 matchup. He also failed to mention that there is a baseball game at home that day. He's made a really bad mistake on the spring game.
Well, I mean, they do that a lot, right? Like they've played home games. That's probably going to be one of their highest attended games of the year. If you kick off at 11, you got Indiana at 2, you're going to get like a few thousand people walking up to that thing. And then maybe an Elite 8 game at night. I mean, and then softball's playing UCLA. That's a huge series for them at home. I mean, what a day that could be. Could be a real memorable one for Nebraska.
What to do?
A banner day for Husker athletics.
That's right.
That it could be. Well, Evan, man, we appreciate your time as always, my friend. Take care of yourself. Thanks for everything. Have a great week. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, guys. Stay warm.
Yep. Thank you. Evan Bland on My World Herald right there. Good stuff, man. You know what? Someone wants to talk to us. When we come back, there's somebody in Ann Arbor who wants to say hi.
There is now.
There is. Let's take a break, and we'll come back live from Ann Arbor.
All right, I cleaned the books on this, so final segment's going to be 11 minutes. So give him what he wants. You want me to?
Yeah, you know who's out there, don't you?
Yeah.
He wants to say hi.
Yeah.
He's like, if you want me to. I'm like, sure. We'll do that in stories. We'll get an update.
Is he going to stream?
Ooh, he said, yeah, I can hop on the stream.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Does he need a link?
Yeah, I sent it to him.
Okay. You sent it to him?
No, you will.
Okay.
Oh, you can? I don't know. I can.
I mean, I could.
Well, I can because I have it.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Otherwise, I could self-email it, basically.
Well, you sent it to me from him. Or who sent it to me? You sent it to me from him?
I sent it to you from his email.
So do I just send it back to him?
Yeah.
All right.
I could be.
Look at me. Technology.
We'll figure it out, Hooks. Trust.
Hey, watch.
Trust.
You know what I mean?
Hooks, I'm excited for baseball. You know why? Because I love an evening at Haymarket. I cannot tell you how much I love an evening. In Haymarket.
There's nothing better, honestly.
And Hooksy.
Just a nice berm seat or something.
Hooksy, you know what would be really awesome? Because women's basketball did this, and it was great. Half off drafts at women's basketball against Illinois.
And
if baseball did a half off drafts.
Did you get one of those shirts too?
No, I didn't. I
You
didn't even
late?
get the free chicken basket. No, we were there like at noon
What were they out
already.
Man, I thought for sure.
I thought with the weather I was getting that, brother. But it's okay.
Would you be there Sunday for the whiteout?
So I'm calling that game.
Okay, so you'll have a nice white shirt on.
I will.
With a
I
sweet
will.
tie.
I will. Yeah.
You got a white coat? That'd be.
I don't have a white coat.
If you roll
I
in,
have to stay. I have to stay
you
neutral.
do. You do. I remember
neutral.
that would be sweet though.
So
if
we'll
you rolled
be going.
in.
We'll be going blue blazer with the white undershirt.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how we do it.
That'd be That'd be sweet. Well, I'll be down to my seats for that one.
Yeah, it's me and my buddy doing because they were like, right, you can pick your color commentator. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm getting my buddy.
Yeah,
come on.
I will be down to my seats for that one. So I'll come down. I won't be upstairs. I did come down.
You did.
Yeah.
You did say hi. It was great. Say hi to me and Robin Washington.
I did.
And killed 2 birds with one stone.
I have a method of what I do.
Right.
And I missed it because I typically walk in at a certain time with my kid. My kid goes earlier, and I walk in with whoever I'm with. And if you're there, say hi and say hi to Robin Washington. Then I go to my seats.
Mm-hmm. We just missed the window.
But I was
okay.
upstairs. Ugh. It wasn't bad.
Oh, hello.
Wait a minute.
Oh, would you look at this?
Life.
How you doing, fellas?
What's up?
Was YZ partying too hard last night after the Patriots win to come in?
No. I'll fill you in.
He's a little under the weather.
We worked it out.
The brown bottle flu, huh?
Fortunately for us, Justice's car could not get thawed quick enough to get to class.
Also, I'll read you the fine print. I'll read you the fine print on the class attendance policy.
Yeah.
Attendance is recorded, not graded.
Not graded.
So not required.
Yeah,
exactly. Until the labs in April.
Because we had it all set up where just go to your class, come back, we'll do the second hour, all that.
And then my car decided not to thaw for
it wasn't happening.
Minutes,
It's like,
so
well,
I was like, hey, Hooks,
I can
come
come in
for the full show.
Are we in a break now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yep.
Yeah. We're not going to come back for another minute 30.
Yeah.
So.
I got your text, and I'm like, well, Evan got to go.
Well, I'm enjoying the heck out of Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Nice little town. We're going to the Ford Museum in Detroit tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Did somebody in Ascot approach you about buying a cheese board yet?
No.
They like to do that up there.
Downtown Ann Arbor is a nice little place.
Maybe a wine, a wine selection, wine tasting.
Well, it's been snowy, so it's been pretty picturesque here in downtown Ann Arbor. Kind of
pretty awesome.
Nice.
Compact feeling. I like it.
We spent quite a time in old Bar Louie there.
Bar Louie?
Oh yeah, look for it.
Okay.
It's like on the site. You can't remember where, but it's right there. Really nice steakhouse down there too. We ate at.
So I was at an Irish pub all afternoon yesterday. Enjoyed that.
Good man. So I'm going to take Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon shows. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the schedule done now since we have.
And you have today, right?
Yeah, I have today.
Yeah.
Well, the morning hookup is flexible tomorrow.
Because I'm assuming that Wednesday is going to be a long travel day for you.
Yeah, and we might be driving back through some snow, so I'm crossing my. I was hoping to be back for high school basketball that night, but I'm no longer confident if we're potentially.
I'm tentatively on standby.
Yep.
So yeah, just in case we need a plane, you could also come in second.
Yeah, the almanac walked in desperation. He figured it out.
All right, fellas.
Here we go.
Rolling.
Here we go. Welcome back to the morning hookup. A few moments left hanging out with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Special thanks to Evan Bland with My World Herald. Check out the stream. We're live from Ann Arbor. Elijah Herbal on a Monday. What's up, brother?
Looking forward to tomorrow night already. I have accepted the Broncos' loss that I had to deal with emotionally yesterday. That was a tough one.
That was ugly.
We're on to Husker basketball. I'm looking forward to. I assume you guys have already talked about this. The AP poll dropping later today, hoping to see a number 5 or a number 4 next to Nebraska's name, and we can see a top 5 matchup.
I'm not picky. We could take number 1 too.
We talked
not too far ahead. If I get lucky enough to see a Husker win tomorrow, you could be talking about Nebraska basketball receiving first place votes in a poll next week if they can take care of business on the weekend, which is another tall task. But if we're a week from today talking about a still undefeated Husker basketball team, that's a team that should be getting number 1 votes.
I thought when you said, if I'm blessed enough to see a Husker win, that you were like, I'll see you Monday. I thought that comment was coming. I'm like, I'll just spend more time out here. So,
no, I'm looking forward to making it back to Lincoln. I've enjoyed Ann Arbor thus far. It's been a snowy weekend here in Michigan, but it's been an enjoyable little town. It's up there, I think, top 3 to top 5 of the college towns I've visited, not named Lincoln, Nebraska.
So, I just wanted to clarify, you haven't seen Sharon Moore running around there at all as he escaped? I just want to make sure. Have we, have we had any Biff Poggi sightings? Anything of the nature?
No, I think Sharon Moore has been locked up or not locked up, but I think he's been with his lawyer and in the court system the past couple of days. So,
but you can kind of, describe Ann Arbor a little bit. I've been there a couple of times because it's a unique setting. If you've never been, the football stadium is like literally in the neighborhood, and you walk a few moments down, you have a nice, quaint downtown there.
Well, yeah, our spot is actually right in the middle of downtown Ann Arbor. So we haven't even used the vehicle since we've gotten here, just been walking around, seeing the sights. Kind of what's the right way to put it? It's an older feeling downtown, kind of compact, skinnier streets, whole bunch of businesses all packed right on top of one another. So a cute little downtown area. Haven't seen the football stadium and Chrysler Center just yet. Not sure if we're going to go check that out today or if we're just going to save that for the game tomorrow evening. But it's a quaint, quiet little downtown. The nightlife hasn't been anything too spectacular. Not that I've been going and searching out where the college kids go, but it's nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some Husker Red invade downtown Ann Arbor tomorrow night.
So, Elijah, have you gotten a chance to look at Michigan basketball and just see kind of what they pose? Obviously, they're a big front court. I mean, you talked about tall tasks. I mean, Nebraska's got 2 of them this week with the size of Michigan and Illinois. But talk a little bit about, like, the environment that you're expecting from the Chrysler Center, what you expect out of this Michigan basketball team, and also your kind of reaction to Nebraska's win against Minnesota on Saturday.
A gritty win against Minnesota, first and foremost. I think we all enjoyed seeing that halftime speech from Fred. On one hand, sometimes I think there should be a little bit of like a sanctity to the locker room, but that was a moment that I think Husker fans deserved and needed to see how this team rallied together at halftime. So it was a good performance in the second half. In terms of this Michigan team, I think athletically, they have the highest ceiling of any basketball team in the country, and you saw that early with how they were just blowing out teams left and right. But recently, this team, I don't want to say they've stuttered because they keep on winning, but they haven't looked as dominant as they did early in the season. Wisconsin, I don't know enough about basketball to know exactly what they exposed, but I feel like that Michigan defense has found themselves scrambling a lot more than they did early in the season. They felt comfortable early in the season. They've been stressed recently. That speaks to how good the Big Ten is, but I'm not going into this game thinking Nebraska needs a Herculean effort to beat this Michigan basketball team. If they go out and do what they do, this will be a game late. Now, could I be sold that Michigan, their athleticism and their ceiling, they come together, they rise to the moment, and they go win by 10? Yeah, I could see it happen. I could see them covering this line. But if Nebraska goes out and does what they've done in all games so far this year, I could absolutely see this being a game at the under 4 media timeout. And it's, hey, whoever makes the plays down the stretch. That's kind of what I'm expecting going into this one. But the Michigan team, with what their ceiling is, they're dangerous.
Yeah, again, I think this is a big one for Nebraska. Again, you're on this might be a game where you're not the hunted real quick because Michigan is a little higher than you are right now. But how important this could be, I believe, not this. I mean, it's an effort from this team, and then we don't poke out individuals, but how important it will be to get rank back to form starting tomorrow night.
I mean, it'd be huge. And I want to say, I don't think he has been bad offensively, but the shots haven't been falling. He still does what he does in terms of passing, facilitating the offense, setting good screens. But the shots falling, especially if you don't have a guy in Frager, it can't just be Price Sanford tomorrow night in Ann Arbor. You're going to need other guys to step up. And I know Jamarcus hit some shots in the second half. That was big for him. But you're going to need a performance from Price and Rink and Jamarcus. And, hey, I'm also evaluating what is Frager going to bring you tomorrow? Can he be a guy that can even go? Can he be a guy that can give you 5 minutes? I mean, from what you're hearing kind of behind the scenes, the ankle has recovered. It's still not 100%. What's it going to be feeling like? I'm sure there's going to be some sort of testing today to determine, all right, can he go? Because if I know anything about Braden Frager, I know he is going to want to go, but I don't think this decision is going to be up to him. So I'm also curious to see, do you get anything out of him tomorrow night? Is he a go? Does he make the trip? Really kind of looking into that and wondering, what is the status of Braden Frager going to tomorrow night? Because you can't just have a Price Sanford game. You're going to need all 5 guys that are on the court at any given time to be making big plays.
So with that being said, I also think, talking off your point, I think Rink's offered a lot defensively just from his positional awareness and what he's able to do communicating on the defensive end. Nebraska wins this game tomorrow in the Chrysler Center if Price, Rink, and a third option combine for what?
Probably 50.
I think it's a fair answer.
I think
it's
it's
very
fair.
fair answer.
I might have been a little higher.
55?
55, north of 55.
Yeah.
I had that in my mind when you said that. So, but
I mean, 25 from Price, 20 from Rink, and 10 out of a guy like Jamarcus Lawrence doesn't seem undoable.
I mean,
that gets you to 55 points.
Yeah, I mean, because he gave you 14 the other night. Sam gave you 14 the other night. What can Cale Jacobson offer? Is this a big Bear K game? Is this a game where maybe Bear K can go matchup hunt?
Bear K is going to be huge on the defensive end. You're going to need his switchability. That's where I have him circled. And hey, if he can chip in 6 to 8 points, awesome. But he needs to be playing with his hair on fire on the defensive end. Him and Sam both. Sam has been a fantastic defender, and it's not the stature. It feels like he has the scouting report on every single team, and he knows their offense and their sets better than the other team does. So you're going to need him to step up and make some big plays. But I look at Burke with the switchability. He's going to have to be huge, guarding really 3 through 5 on the defensive end.
And then conversely, to ask you this, Nebraska wins if they hold Michigan to how many points in the paint? That's a big lineup. I know the big lineup with Mara, Morris Johnson, and Yaxel Lendenborg hasn't been the greatest metrically, but that size-wise is over.
Size. And it'll pose some issues to Nebraska, despite the no middle defense with the size that they have on the inside. They're going to score some points. Is it a question of, is that also 50 to 55 points? Like if they get above that in the points, that's a lot of points in the paint.
I was like mid-30s.
Yeah, if you can keep them to, I think under 35, even 30.
Mid-30s.
You're probably in battle.
Because Michigan blows you. They're going to do what they do on the inside. They blow you out, and they win this game big if they're knocking down threes at a 35 to 40% clip. And they got some shooters. I think if this turns into a three-point shooting contest, Nebraska has the advantage there. But if they can hit 35 to 40% on their threes, which is, I mean, just above their season average, I think they're shooting about 35% on the season from three. If they're anywhere above that season average, I get a little bit worried about what this team can do to Nebraska. But hey, Nebraska's got gamers, they got grit, they got guys that are ready for the fight, I think.
Well, they also have a wizard of a coaching staff.
Yeah.
Between Fred Hoiberg and Nate Lenzer, you probably expect some sort of game plan to be cooked up.
And Elijah, I think a couple more things in this game. When you look at a couple, I alluded to, we had Robin on this morning. He's flying tomorrow, but I alluded to our guard play. And these are the numbers. Our 4 guards, and I put Price, J-Law, Sam, and Cale in this mix. Those 4 combined for 16 rebounds a game. You have 2 of those guards getting 5 a game, and that turnover margin being between 8 and 9. How important the guards will be. Michigan, the style they play, they do turn it over at about 12 a game. Can you turn them over a bunch and get empty possessions out of them?
I mean, you're going to need more than 12, right?
Yeah.
Right? 15 to 18 turnovers from Michigan.
Yep.
It's a lot to ask, but this defense, they're swarming, they're hounding. I could see them pulling that off. I mean, there's not one key to this game to going on the road and beating this Michigan Wolverines team. You're going to need to nail almost everything in the scouting report, almost everything in the game plan.
To caveat that, they did have a 31% turnover percentage game against TCU earlier in the season. Last 3 games have been 20%, 18, and 21. So Michigan,
what was it against Wisconsin?
Against Wisconsin, they turned it over at a 12.5% clip. They didn't turn it over, but Wisconsin had the outlier shooting game.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the number was Wisconsin hit 10 straight threes against them.
Yeah,
and it was all the bigs. So, like, you can have the outlier shooting game against them. But also, Wisconsin got killed on the glass and was taking the ball out of the net a lot. So
it'll be awesome. What's on tap in Ann Arbor today for you, Elijah?
Let's see. We're going to go midday here because we're an hour ahead. I didn't realize that whenever we got into Michigan, the clocks all changed. And I went, that's going to screw up my timing. But we're going to go walk around, see Michigan's campus a bit today. It's been snowy and really cold the past 2 days, so we finally have some clear sidewalks to go out and see campus. Everyone's told me to go hit Zingerman's Sandwich Shop, so we'll be hitting Zingerman's Sandwich Shop here in an hour or two, most likely. And then this evening, I don't really know. Maybe we'll find a little pub, find a little bar to be determined. I'm also going to hopefully hop on with Schmitty and Justice this afternoon for about an hour. So that's what we're looking at.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Have a good time out there, my friend.
Try my best. No promises.
Be safe. All right, we'll talk to you. Boy, we're up out against it, aren't we? My goodness.
Yeah, we got about 10 seconds. 10,
what a great day. Tomorrow we have a little Brian Munson. We'll talk some Super Bowl and a whole lot more. College basketball tomorrow for sure. Look at the slate and that. You guys have a great Monday. Be safe. Be blessed. We'll catch you on a Tuesday.